that Thumbelina where she had fucking orange hair and like a fucking like turquoise headband.
Oh yeah.
The old Disney looking ass joint.
Okay, yes, but in that fucking movie, bruh, a bunch of frogs kidnapped this bitch and were like, "You're gonna be my wife," and she was like, "Fuck this shit, I'm in love with a fairy prince," and she was like, and they were really trying to be over here fucking like, "What's up?"
The mom of the toad that really wanted her son to like marry Thumbelina, she had like big ass jugs. She has jugs. No, literally
built.
Search it up. Like
Wait, okay, hold on. What's the
Thumbelina?
Thumbelina mom?
No,
That's stupid.
No, just Thumbelina movie, the 1994 film.
Yeah. Images.
It should there. That one there. That one.
Why? Why, dude? Why is she built like this? Who did this? Who? And why?
Dummy dick.
I think we broke him.
He's just aggravated now. Hello.
Ooh.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jamie.
I'm Reggie.
And today we have a little special guest in the background.
Hello, I'm Shelby.
This is our unpaid intern. Also not our intern.
She's also not being paid, same as the rest of us.
And if you're wondering who this is in my background, there's just another person who lives in my house with me. So please disregard the ghost in my background. That'd be cool. Yeah, but anyways, what are we talking about today, Reggie?
All right. Well, today we are discussing some shit from our childhood that we'd never want to revisit in terms of TV shows and movies. We talk about...
Ew.
It's a lot to unpack, honestly. We kind of roll on that fucking subject for a while, and then we talk about an Am I the Asshole, per the usual. Starting the last episode. It's the usual now.
Yeah, starting aka our second episode ever.
Yeah, our second. But yeah, and aside from that, we also touch a little bit on Filipino American culture, as well as some other stuff unique to the American experience, not from a white lens. So
Yeah,
if that interests you, stick around.
Not from the white lens.
What is it? Is that too salty? Like we take that out.
No, it's okay. I like it. Leave it.
All right, sick.
But anyway, yeah, if you guys are interested in hearing these few topics, even though we kind of go into them a little bit, please stick around, and I hope that you guys enjoy. As usual, if you guys ever have anything that you guys are interested in hearing us talk about, please comment down below. We'd love to get some topics. We like talking about anything, honestly. We go into some interesting conversations, but yeah, we also now have our email. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, I guess 3 episodes has questions and concerns. Reggie will also put down the email in the description box down below. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode.
So we had a talk earlier today about some very disturbing media that we enjoyed as children, but looking back, it's really just concerning. Just some of the most concerning shit. Would you like to expound on that?
So, you know those shows that you watch on TV when you're young and you're like, oh yeah, this is cool. I'm watching this just to pass some time, waiting until it's dinner, finished my homework,
It's fucking cartoons. Why not?
Yeah. And then you get older, you realize that shit's kind of fucked up. I don't know if I should be watching this. I don't know if I should be alone right now looking at this stuff because,
Alone?
Okay, you've never
It's fucking I'm imagining you're left to your own fucking devices.
No, okay, first of all, I remember there would be movies coming on and I would be like, I don't know if I should be watching this. I don't know if it's age appropriate. I'm pretty sure if my mom walked in right now, she'd probably be like, no. Yeah,
what the fuck are you watching? Final Destination? What's...
Okay, weirdly enough, I remember I was pretty young and my dad was like, hey, watch this movie with us. It was fucking Resident Evil. And I was watching.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
How old were you when this happened?
Whenever, Resident Evil came out, which I have no clue when that did come out.
It had just come out kind of thing?
Yeah. We watched all the Resident Evil. And my parents, they started fucking on the screen. And I was like, so y'all not go turn this off? Y'all not go tell us to leave the room real quick?
Y'all cool with this? Y'all see this? Hey.
No, that fucking...
Yeah, I'm 5.
You're just gonna let me sit here and be traumatized?
that fucking TikTok where he's like, you see me? Cause I see you. Do you see? She don't see us. She don't see us. I don't think she see us.
Ma'am. Can I please have a waffle? Can I please have a waffle?
Hello, CPS. I mean, there were some very questionable things I think we've all watched growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And, when we think about it now that we're a little bit older, we're like, well, I'm never watching that shit again. So, Reggie, what is yours? What are your shows and movies that you'd never watch again?
I don't know. Because it's when I think back on, I guess I blacked it out of my memory. It's just not there anymore. I tend to black out traumatic memories from my past. But I remember there was one time I was at a family friend's house party, mm-hmm. and we were watching 1,000 Ways to Die. I think I was at the tender age of 10.
So old.
Yeah.
So old. You brought back another distant memory from the back of my brain to the front of my brain.
Yeah, and that was the episode that they did the number one way to die. And if you know that show at all, the number one way to die is the fucking this Japanese couple who are really prudish or whatever, finally decided to consummate their love. Fucking had some wine, got real intimate, lit some candles and shit. They were making a moment out of it. And the moment that they both fucking climaxed, they both had heart attacks and died.
Wait,
they couldn't get medical attention because they were both fucking going under, dude.
Okay, but 1,000 Ways to Die was such a fever dream. That was such a fever dream. Oh my god.
When it was that good.
Do you remember? Do you guys remember that episode? Oh, by the way, Shelby's in this episode today. If you hear another distant voice, they're like, "Who the fuck is that?"
That's our intern.
Official intern.
Official intern. Yes.
I'm a ghost. You don't see me at all.
Unpaid. She's not getting paid. We're not getting paid. No one's getting paid on this podcast.
I can't even work until I'm 18.
She is but a child.
If you guys wonder, this is also another child in my background. He's just there. He's probably not real, but just disregard him. We're all in a fever dream currently.
Don't mind him.
What's worse than a rapist? A child?
No.
God
Okay.
God
Anyways,
damn it.
do you guys remember that episode on 1,000 Ways to Die where this person was really into eating dirt? And she would like break into her neighbor's backyard because she had like a garden, and she would eat the dirt out of the garden. But later on she like died, and they were like, what the fuck, like how did she die?
Yeah, because she was like completely healthy, right?
The person, the neighbor, was using their own shit as fertilizer for their garden. So she was eating literal human shit and she died. And this is why we don't watch that show anymore.
Literally.
Several
I'm
horrible
drunk.
decisions led to that.
Also, I'm drunk. We're a little drunk. So that's
So am I. Happy Saturday, or whenever you're watching this. Cheers to you.
But yeah, on my list, I think one thing I'll probably never watch again is SpongeBob. And you're probably like, it's just SpongeBob. Like, why would you watch it? And I won't lie, there are very good memes.
Yeah, like, I need to know, because, like, a lot of folks revere the first few episodes, like, the first few seasons of SpongeBob as just, like, comedy gold, like, kind of untouchable kind of thing. Like, I can understand, like, the later seasons, but just, like, as a show in general.
Okay, but this, like, the thing that bothered me was not even a thing that, like, came on to, like, the newer shows, because I don't watch new SpongeBob. Who the fuck watches new SpongeBob?
Yeah.
You're weird. You're weird as fuck if you watch new SpongeBob. But, what used to freak me out were the very hyper-realistic photos that they would put. Like, do you remember?
Yeah, there were, like, random inserts!
Yes! The Nasty Patty, when they put that. And then, like,
God.
SpongeBob's face when he would eat, like, gross shit. And it would just be, like, you could see every pore on his face. Just used to freak me out.
The fucking Gary Come Home episode where he stuck his tongue in the goddamn can of snail food. Just,
And for a split second, they literally, and the thing is, they put it in for, like 1 or 2 seconds.
yeah.
But it resonates in my brain. It's just so
Just long enough to burn into your memory, you know?
It's like equivalent. It makes me equivalently like uncomfortable and like to the episode in Adventure Time when the fucking deer took off its fucking hooves and went like this. And I was
Oh god, yeah.
like,
It's just wrong. It's just so wrong.
the most wrong part is that these are children's shows. Probably why I'm a little messed up in my brain.
This is pretty some fucked up shit. This is like Steven Hillenberg's in the fucking corner. It's just like, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like also with like the whole, because like I remember watching like iCarly and like Zoe 101 and like all those fucking shows, and then I was always just like, why the fuck is there so much shit about feet? Like, why do they keep bringing up the topic of feet?
Oh fuck, you're right.
It's because of Dan Schneider.
Yeah, there was a whole thing about that.
I need to see a very, very good, like, deep dive video about Dan Schneider, like, in the same kind of, like, unsolved mystery way that they do with, like, the fucking, like, paranormal shit. I just need this about Dan Schneider, because this man, I'm pretty sure he got some children feet in his house, because...
Today we're gonna be going on a deep dive down a dark rabbit hole of obsessive behavior only characterized by insanity. Tonight, on the Foot Zone. Just Dan, why?
Dan, why? So someone put a picture, because do you remember they canceled like Zoe 101 because she got pregnant?
Yeah, she got fucking pregnant.
Someone put a picture of her baby next to Dan Schneider, and her baby kind of looked like Dan Schneider though, and I was like, I don't want to accept this.
No, dude, no, man, no.
Childhood ruined.
He was responsible for so many shows, man.
I love how traumatized you.
I hate all of the like childhood ruining shit. Like, what else is there? Like Ed and Eddie, how they're like literally all of the people in Ed and Eddie are dead because of their tongue color.
Yeah.
And this bothers me the most because you know how much I love Winnie the Pooh. Like, I hate it so much, but they're like, yeah, in Winnie the Pooh, you know, each character actually shows a different version of mental illness. And I'm
fuck, I remember that.
Winnie the Pooh Bear is, what is it? Eating disorder?
Yeah.
Piglet is anxiety. Eeyore is depression. Tigger is ADHD. Rabbit is OCD.
Mm-hmm.
And then
and Mr. Owl is only there to tell you how many licks it takes to get to the Tootsie Pop.
and Rue has autism.
Oh yeah, Wait, what about
Kanga?
Yeah, Kanga.
I don't know. I think she's the only normal
one. And
then,
she's here to represent normalcy.
Christopher Robin, schizophrenic.
Oh yeah, that kind of makes sense.
There's so many conspiracy theories about this.
See, but I hate that because I literally love Winnie the Pooh so much. He's my favorite character. He's my favorite Disney character. And like, like when the live action Winnie the Pooh came out, as soon as anything, when they're all in the opening scene, when they're all at the freaking like little like table, like having their little birthday party, I started crying. Because I love him.
Literally tearing up.
My eyes are tearing up right now just thinking about it.
Actually, that reminds me, like one movie that I couldn't go back to for the longest time was the first Pokemon movie. Cause that scene with Pikachu getting beat the fuck up by the clone Pikachu, like that shit hit so hard. It's like I can't. And then fucking when he's trying to bring Ash back, like I can't, dude. I fucking like. It was the first movie that made me feel viscerally fucking just so like sad, and I think. Like I learned how to deal with death from Pokemon the first movie.
Pokemon movie where the Pokemon literally kidnapped a child.
Oh.
Was that the one with Entei? Or was it the fucking the little girl got spirited away by a big old Firefox?
Saw the child and was like, "You are mine now." And his voice was like equivalent to like a Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. I am your dad now. Like, no, you're not, Entei. You're a fucking dog.
Call me daddy.
Ride me.
Joke.
Oh
no.
Am I the only one that's like 100% living for the corpse and like Bretman and Rock relationship? Because I love them so much.
Wait, is that a thing?
Yeah, it's totally a thing.
I love them.
Wait,
he's just like
I need the.
he's like corpsey, and he's like, "What's up, baby?" And it'd be like, "Oh my god, I'm dying."
What it do, baby?
Like, is that's a real? It's a real
thing. Bretman Rock and Corpse.
Together. Bretman Rock and Corpse.
Have you not seen any of those videos?
No, I don't follow either of those content creators.
Bretman Rock and Corpse are my literal OTP in my mind.
For me, it's like Kuno and Corpse. Are you kidding?
No, Bretman Rock and Corpse do it for me. Like, okay, Sakuna's like, oh, like he's so innocent, and like he's just like, oh my god, like
he's baby.
so crazy. Yeah, he's baby, but like, but when freaking Corpse be calling be calling Bretman, like he'd be like, baby, and I'll be like, oh.
Internal screaming intensifies.
Literally, and then Bretman Rock's like, Corpsey, yeah, and I'm just like, oops.
I mean, just judging off of the stuff that they make, like I never would have expected. But I mean, I don't really follow them that closely as creators. So it's just like it's cool. It's
crazy
cool.
how I think he like Bretman also plays Valorant now, which is very interesting.
Really? Like I never knew him to be a gamer.
He started doing Twitch, and then he was like, saw this video, and he was like, Corpse, if you don't play Valorant with us, like, I'm gonna be so mad. Like, I'm gonna be so upset with you. Like, I'm never talking to you ever again. And then Corpse is just over here, like, being like, baby, like, I'm gonna be there, blah, blah, blah. Like, hello, I was just like, oh my god.
His
like,
low fucking rumbling, like,
I need him to...
rumbling voice. I'll be there.
Why do I feel this way? What's happening to me? Why do I feel this way?
Stupid. Fucking stupid. Fucking stupid.
It's funny though because like he came in with that fucking song, and then in streams they'll be like, hit me like you love, and he'll be like, shut the fuck up. He'll be like, shut the fuck up.
Like, you made it!
You put it out there. You put it out there.
It's your fault, not ours.
It's your song. We're just supporting.
It's not our fault. It's so good.
We're quoting you, motherfucker.
You should be proud.
It's just like if fucking like Abraham Lincoln was walking down the street and someone was just like, "And 4 score, hey, my man." He was just like, "Please stop it." It's just like you fucking said it.
I like how those were your two things that you decided: Corpse and Abraham Lincoln.
I don't fucking know, man.
If Abraham Lincoln walked down the street, I would be so scared.
Well, like Daniel Day-Lewis, Abraham Lincoln. Fucking, what did he hunt in that movie? Fucking werewolves or some shit?
Which movie?
There was a whole ass fucking movie. Oh, I need to look this up now.
Oh my god. Okay, but on the back to the topic of fever dream points in time. Another one of mine that we briefly talked about a little bit earlier off cam was Life with Derek, where a stepsister and a stepbrother were having very uncomfortable sexual tension with each other, and they made it seem like it was okay. Because if anyone had watched The Fosters, they were a stepsister and a stepbrother, like, in love. And they specifically made it in that show like they could not be together because they are step siblings. Like, this is not okay. Yes, and I was like, yeah, you're right. This is not okay. And then I revisit fucking Life with Derek, and I'm like, this is not okay at all. But why are they making it seem like it's okay?
It's like, I really appreciate you. And she gives him the same look as fucking Nala gave to Simba in Lion King. The fucking fuck me eyes. It's just like,
can you feel?
And it's so weird because there would be episodes where it'd be like, she's like, Derek is so annoying, but you know, I just have to love him at the end of the day. And I'm just like, no, bitch. He's your stepbrother, and he's fucking annoying.
You don't owe him anything.
You
know he's annoying, but you over here secretly wanting to suck his dick, so you know that's cool, I guess. Live your life. CPS.
You do you.
Can I just say though, on the topic of live action shows from that era, Mindy was too good for Josh.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Also, she's super cool. Like, I've seen like interviews with her like recently or whatever, and she's just like super fucking cool. I remember there's an interview where like she was in the same interview with Stan Lee.
What?
Yeah, like apparently she's been up to some shit. Yeah, R.I.P. Stan Lee.
Oh man.
Like fucking like she's been up to some shit ever since Drake and Josh, and it's kind of fucking rad.
Weirdly, on that note, I have been very into TikTok. I think that it also feels kind of wrong because I am 24 on TikTok and it just doesn't feel right for me to be on there.
What do you mean?
I don't know, like I watch this stuff and I'm just like sometimes I watch videos that are trying to be funny and I'm like, I don't know if it's me because my humor's messed up because of the generation that I grew with, or I'm too old for that. But like when people my age post shit on there, I'm like, this is so funny. And then I see shit that like younger people post and I'm like, this is not that funny. And I'm like, maybe I'm just old. But anyways.
Most of my generation isn't cultured, just so you know.
We are very well aware of that. But yeah, I keep seeing the fucking actors and actresses from fucking Sweet Life of Zack and Cody on there, and I'm just like, this is so weird.
I feel like I shouldn't be surprised, but I am.
Like the mom, the janitor dude, and Esteban.
Dude, the janitor was sick.
Esteban Julio Ricardo. I don't know how to say his whole name. I'm sorry.
Esteban Julio Ricardo Montoya de la Rosa Ramirez.
Okay, the fact that she's younger than me and she can say that is kind of disappointing.
I'm immediately disappointed in myself.
Yeah, the only thing that resonates in my brain with that show is the fucking remember when they did that thing where they were trying to bring ghosts? Like they were like trying to summon a ghost in that one room. And they're just like so spooked. They were so spooked.
Like shit was actually happening, right?
Yeah, and then Esteban had like another voice, like a lady.
Oh yeah, he got possessed.
Yeah, that's the only thing. And the Hannah Montana, That's So Raven's Sweet Life of Zack and Cody spin-off. That's the only one.
Yes. Esteban.
Why do I not remember this?
Oh my. Oh, yeah. Oh, whoa, oh, yeah.
Ew.
You'd be like, yeah. Oh. Okay, but basically in that episode with That's a Raven, Hannah Montana, and like the Sweet Love of Zack and Cody, was that Raven had like made this dress and Hannah Montana was like, or some shit happened with her clothes, some shit or whatever. Oh no, Raven made a dress. She gave it to London Tipton. She wanted her to wear it. And London was like, no, this dress is like fucking ugly. And then Hannah Montana saw that shit and she was like, oh my god, like this dress is so amazing. And then she like wanted it. And then Hannah Montana wore it. And then London Tipton was like, oh no, bitch. Like she offered me this dress first. Like that shit's mine. Mm-hmm. And they started fighting over this dress. And Raven's like, oh my god, Hannah Montana and London Tipton are fighting over my dress. So that's I feel like that's just
the whole story. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. Something like right.
Comedy ensues.
Do you remember that character in Zack and Cody? She was like the new Maddie, and she just had constant anxiety.
Oh, the bald-haired bitch.
Every single day. Me.
The bald-haired bitch with anxiety. Yo, I remember her.
She was just so fucked up every day of her life. Just every day. She was so upset about anything.
Yeah.
But also, like, sucks. Most of me. Because
she never really, like, fucked up, really. Like, nothing was ever her fault.
And they would, like, tell her stuff, and she'd be like, oh, no! She'd run away. I'm just like, all right. Little did I know, I would grow up to be her.
Hello, yes, I'd like to report this picture because I'm in it and I don't like it. Today's episode is brought to you in part by P-God. P-God is an urban streetwear clothing brand that draws inspiration from classic early 90s skater aesthetics with the stylistic sensibilities of lo-fi vaporwave shitposting meme bloggers. Right now, they're selling a limited edition embroidered sweater featuring their signature ASE design, nestled
in cherry blossoms, perfect for any springtime jaunt to the corner store, since any longer outside is only inviting the possibility of getting slapped with the Rona. Be God. One time for the meme.
Alright, welcome back to IMO The Podcast, the show where everything is made up and the points don't matter. That's right, the points are just like your girlfriend's friends. They don't Oh, fuck! Ah, shit!
Okay, so now we're moving on to our next segment. As mentioned in the last episode, we are doing the Am I the Asshole segment, and this time we did read through it, so it.
Do you want to do that again, or are you keeping that?
I have no fucking idea.
Fuck it, keep it going. Am I the asshole?
No, we're doing it again.
This is all staying in. Note to self, this is all staying in.
Okay, guys, so we are moving on to our next segment for Am I the Asshole? And this time around, we did pre-read the story, so we have a general idea. So we don't read it word for word as we did in the last episode, which was not that great. I'm sorry.
I liked it.
I did enjoy it, but I think that to some people, it might have been a little long-winded, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So, Reggie, do you want to let them know what kind of went on with our people today?
With our people? What do you mean our people?
With our people in the story.
Oh, I thought you were... Oh, okay. What you mean, our people?
We do not claim these people.
We don't claim them whatsoever. So, for today's story, we're talking about essentially what had happened was there's two couples, right? The author and her husband, as well as the husband's college friend and their significant other. They moved into a house together to kind of try and help bring down the rent prices, and also just like you don't need that much space or something. It's fucking expensive to live. Anyways, raise minimum wage, please. So the subject of this Am I the Asshole centers around these folks' gripes with the significant other of the college friend of the husband, who is not Asian. And just to preface, like, this all kind of like applies to Asian American culture and stuff like that. So the person that's causing the strife in the story is not Asian whatsoever. She is of white and African American descent. And the basic quandary of the story itself is, am I the asshole for telling my roommate that she isn't woke if she's wrong? So the basic story is that, at the time of filming, it is currently motherfucking the 20th of February. So we just passed Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year, however you want to call it. I think properly it's called Lunar New Year. And so there's a lot of like festivities that go along, especially in like the Asian community.
And I do live with Mien/Thai people, so if you look in the background here, there are actually eggs hanging above my bed. They're boiled eggs dyed bright pink. For good luck.
Yeah, like there's a lot of different intricacies, and it's just like
everyone has their own kind of traditions, you know.
Exactly. And so the whole problem in this situation is that Anna, who's the significant other of the college friend, started being like really fucking extra. I mean, like really fucking extra.
Yeah, the most. Doing
just the absolute most. Like, what was it? She bought incense, which gave the writer like headaches, like migraines, like bad fucking headaches. she bought a banner like that was all white, which if you're familiar with the culture, like, you know, you'll know why that's like a faux pas, but like if you're not, it's like you essentially put someone's name on there when you're just like in remembrance kind of thing. It's just like it's an all white banner with their name emblazoned on top of it. Like it's just like, oh, like we're celebrating this person's life or whatever. Like they've already passed away kind of thing. And she had like her roommates' names on it, the writer and the husband's names on it,
who are not deceased.
who are not dead. Like obvious, like they're not dead.
Yeah. And it's another way to call it is hell notes. So it's kind of like it's burned for deceased ancestors. Some other just over the top shit that she did. So the writer and her significant other, they're both Southeast Asian, but they're pretty Americanized in general. But the roommate, the roommate's girlfriend, and we're just gonna call her Anna, just so we don't have to keep saying roommate's girlfriend. Yeah. But Anna goes ahead and buys organ meat for the significant other and the writer. Yeah, and is offended because they do not want to use the organ meat because they like preferably just don't like it in general, and she insists that they just haven't found like the right kind of recipe for them to try so that they don't like it.
Yeah,
which makes no sense. Like
I find that so fucking, because like I'm Filipino, like I'm like full-blooded Filipino. I was born here, so I'm pretty Americanized, but I have had the luxury of being able to visit like the motherland or whatever like more than a handful of times in my life. I think that it wasn't until I visited like later on in my life that I actually started to develop like a taste for that stuff. Like in our culture, like it's like chicken gizzard is a big thing, chicken small intestines and stuff, like street food. Like oftentimes like it's street food, and then like if you go to a Korean barbecue spot, like they'll have cow intestines, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's like it's chewy, it's got a different texture, you know, like it's an acquired taste. And if you know anything about like the food at all, like, and if you know anything about the person that you're supposedly giving the shit to, like you should know whether or not they have a taste for it, because it's so distinctly different from like anything that you would consume in a regular American diet.
It's like telling an American or something like that, or along the lines of like being like someone who just really doesn't like cheeseburgers or some shit, and being like, well, maybe you just haven't had the right cheeseburger recipe. You know, buys him hamburger patties and is like, you should just try to find a better hamburger recipe. That's why you don't like hamburgers. It's like, no, bitch. Like, I just don't fucking like hamburgers. Like, stop trying to feed me this shit. Yeah. And she was just very offended that they did not want anything to do with their organ meat.
And I think the actual verbiage in the story itself was just like, you've been so, like Anna was saying, like you've been so colonized or whatever. And it's just like I get where people like come from with that, like saying, because like in many cases, like sure that can apply, but we're talking about food here, which is so subjective to what you've experienced, like what you've eaten throughout your lifetime. Like there's no you're not supposed to like intestine because you're Asian.
Exactly. Like I'm Filipino, but I do not like bitter melon whatsoever. I like refuse to like it. So you telling me that I need to like bitter melon because I am Filipino makes no sense. It's the same thing. Like, yeah, I mean, granted, I do like chicken feet. I like chicken gizzard in adobo. Like that shit smacks. But telling someone that they're supposed to like something because they have some specific ethnic background, like, it's just literally stupid. Like, you have to be so one-track minded to be able to think like that. On that note, another thing that she did was she bought kabuki masks And the what the writer specifically wrote was, I told her that those masks were not Chinese, which is what they are. And she just snapped, started yelling at them, and that they should be helping her and then not critiquing what she did for them. So basically, like, be fucking grateful, bitch, that I got you these kabuki masks. You should be helping me with these kabuki masks, not telling me that they're not Chinese, because, you know, you should just be glad that I tried to do something for Asians or some shit. Like, no, that's not what that means.
They're so not, and I think this is a big thing that, fuck, because like I remember there was this whole thing where it's just like Americans don't know geography, right?
Yeah.
Which is like it's true when it comes to our country, but even more so when it comes to our knowledge about the rest of the world. Like, case in point, when you ask some, like, when you talk about someone who is like Asian, like, it's never like I have never in my life heard personally from someone who is asking me about my ethnic background, what kind of Asian are you, or like what specific Asian are you. I've never heard that. Like, they never get into the specificity. And even on the rare occasion that I tell people like, oh, I'm Filipino, they'll be like, is that some kind of Asian kind of thing? And it's just like, yes? Like, do I have to... Yes? Like, what is the qualifier? What is the qualifier, really?
What makes me Filipino? Like, what exactly?
Like, yeah. At least in our community, like, it's so, like... There's that whole weird thing where, like, a bunch of us think that we're Pacific Islanders or whatever. Like, that's a completely different topic in and of itself. But it's like, we're Asian, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, it gets so much more specific.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like, well, for me, so I am actually, I'm like 5'5", and for Filipino girls, that's not normal, because Filipino women and girls are very tiny, like, they're very short.
I agree.
They run from like damn near like 4'10" to 5, at most 5'2" or 5'3".
They go from 4'12" to 5'0". That's it.
Yeah.
4'12".
4'12" to 5'0", literally the same exact.
Did you really just say 4'12"?
Yes! That's the joke!
Anyways, yeah, so they're typically very short. So in this like kind of situation, for me, it'd be someone like telling me, you're not Filipino because you're too tall to be Filipino. Like, if someone's like, oh, you can't be Filipino. But I won't lie, because I have had people ask me, like, are you Hawaiian because you're so tall? Like, are you Samoan or something because you're so tall? Are you some kind of other Pacific Islander or Asian because you're so tall? I'm like, no, I'm just Filipino. I guess I have good genes so that I can be a little taller than all the other women. But yes, I am full Filipino. It's kind of the equivalent of that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But on kind of a similar note, I actually have had like I used to date a guy, and he was half white and half Filipino. So his mom was white and his dad was Filipino, and his mom had a white boyfriend, and and my ex was, and his sister, so it was the two of them. My ex and his sister were both very Americanized. Even though they kind of recognized their Filipino backgrounds, they weren't very like, they weren't super like, oh, like, I'm hella Filipino, like Filipino pride or whatever, right? You know? Mm. But the boyfriend of the mom would actually buy them like very odd Asian food. He would get them chicken feet. He would, like, the stuff that I'm used to eating, he would get them like chicken feet, chicken gizzard, like all these different things. And they'd be like, why is he buying this for us? And he's like, well, you must like it because you guys are half Filipino. Mm-hmm. And that is not the case at all. So I feel like it just comes from a sense of just not being educated enough about Asian background, just assuming that every Asian is the same, because all Asians are completely different. It's the same thing as like telling someone like, you're American. It's like, okay, well, I'm from the Bay Area and someone else is from New York. We are not the same. We are not built.
It's like going up to someone from California and just being like, "Ah, you yeehaw, motherfucker."
You It's like coming up to me and being like, so you're from America? Then why don't you have a country accent? That makes no sense. Like, it's the same shit. So, I mean, honestly, what I think in this situation is that, you know, as much as, like, I want to be like, yeah, she's the asshole, I'm like, she's trying, I guess, in her own mental that she's doing something for them, you know, like, I'm just trying to be, like, more thoughtful and, like, thinking about your culture, but to tell someone, like, you know, you're not this enough, like, you're not that enough, you know, you're not Filipino enough, you're not American enough, it's kind of just wrong on you because, you know, you can't really speak on someone for growing up a specific way that they decided to grow up.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just rude overall, but I don't know. I honestly think that Anna's the asshole because, you know, she got butthurt. It's like, girl, if you don't do something, like...
It's like... Because the thing that fucking gets me about this story is that, like, she never fucking asked. Like, she never asked. It's like, she just knows they're, like, Asian.
It's Asian.
Chinese. Like, yeah, I overheard them, like, speaking in Cantonese to their family or whatever. Or fucking the husband of the writer was like talking on the phone in like kind of Cantonese, kind of English with their family, and just kind of like assumed like, oh, they're like hella Chinese, like, you know. And it's like, no, like I'm American as fuck. I can speak some Tagalog, but like if you were to ask me if I wanted to move back to the Philippines, or if it's just like, oh, like, do you know, celebrate all this other stuff, or like when you court, like, do you fucking like get the band together and fucking like serenade, like all that shit, like, no, hell no, hell to the fucking no, dude. Like,
when you court, that's the most Filipino ass chef ever heard you say. When you're courting a girl. Oh my God. When you're courting someone that you desire, do you decide to
okay, bitch. But like legit though, like there's like cultural identity when it comes to your ethnic background and the place in which you inhabit. So in our case as Asian Americans, like fucking, or specifically like Filipino Americans, like between Filipino and American, like there's a whole spectrum in between that, and it's the same for every fucking different kind of culture that you can fucking think of. So it's just like, I don't like, I understand the whole wave of just like, oh, you need to decolonize your brain and stuff like that. And it's just like on a certain level, like I agree with a lot of those sentiments, just because it's just like, I don't want us to ever forget where we come from. I don't want us to forget, like, you know, the roots of why we are the way that we are. But at the same time, we shouldn't sacrifice what we've got in order to attain that. And so just like celebrating the fact that, you know, like as a Filipino American, you have lumpia, lechon, and fucking like burger steaks all at the same time. Like fucking you like having meat. Yeah, like, you know, like fucking like I can't even say fried chicken because that's just as Filipino as it is American. But like, you know, like, okay, spam, like having fucking spam every day, like that is something to be celebrated in my opinion, because it's just like that is something that in our culture has come from specifically Filipino American experiences. You know, that's something that's really fucking cool. It's just like, oh, I got you like a can of spam that's like a weird fucking flavor, ain't it funny? And it's just like, yeah, like I would hella fucking appreciate that. But if you were to just fucking like, oh hey, I got you like, oh, it's Lunar New Year, I got you mooncakes, and it's just like, I love mooncakes, but I'm not Chinese. Like
I just, you can't really judge someone like just based off of the race, because we all kind of come from different backgrounds of upbringing, like for me, like personally, like I lived in the Philippines for about 2 or 3 years when I was younger. And this was at like the age that you first generally start learning shit. Like I went there around the time I was like 2 to like 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. So when I came back to America, I couldn't speak a lick of English. But now, like, you wouldn't even be able to tell, But, the old people don't know. They think I'm Americanized as fuck, and they think that I can't understand Tagalog or from where I'm from, Kapampangan. So they always like talk shit about me, and I can hear them and I understand every single word that they're saying. And they get so shook when they realize, oh, this American girl can understand like all the shit we're speaking. And I'm like, yeah, well, just because you think I'm Americanized doesn't mean that I am. Mm-hmm. And for you to assume that I am as Americanized as you think I am is just wrong in general. Like, just because I was born in the States, just because I grew up here, doesn't mean that I don't have a specific connection to my own background. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same way, like, when you kind of grow up, you're like, Asians eat cats and dogs and blah, 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 blah. Like, in the Philippines, they eat cats and dogs. But if you really look back on the history, they tried to turn the Philippines into a tourist destination. So they took pictures of Filipinos actually, well, the people that colonized the Philippines set up these photos of Filipinos barbecuing cats and dogs as a tourist destination to be like, hey, look at these fucking weird ass people. They eat dogs and cats.
Look
Come
at
over
these
here.
Savages.
Come over here and check it out.
Savages,
yeah, exactly.
Barely even human.
That's basically like what they thought we were. They wanted to depict us as people who didn't have any kind of knowledge. They didn't think, like, they basically treated us like we were animals. So if you were to tell me like, oh, you're not Filipino enough, like, it's like, well, if I have the knowledge and I have the background, then shouldn't I be Filipino enough for myself? But why do I have to abide by what you think is enough to be like this Asian, to be American enough, to be Asian enough, to be black enough, to be white enough? Like, why do I have to prove that to you if I know who I am? Mm-hmm. You shouldn't have to appease other people. So for Anna to be like, fuck you guys for not accepting my organ meats because you guys are so fucking colonized. Like, bitch, no, you're just a fucking asshole. Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
The thing that struck me the most was the kabuki masks and then her popping off promptly afterwards. Like, that shit
the kabuki mask.
Why?
The fact that they drew the line at kabuki mask. I would have drawn the line.
It's not even the Lunar New Year thing!
I would have drawn the line at intestines. I would have been like, so you're telling me you want me to eat this because you think it's because my family will eat this?
Yeah, it's
like, no, girl.
Oh, your appetite is so whitewashed.
Just because my dad likes something doesn't mean I'm gonna like something. Like, just because my mom likes something does not mean that I will like something, Yeah. My dad loves bitter melon, and I hate bitter melon, so, that's cool.
Exactly. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, when it comes to that sort of conversation of just like cultural sensitivity, like, I think that the identity of individuals should always play as a major factor as how you treat people. Cause and it's just like, I will always say that everything is politics. When you're dealing with other people, everything is always politics. There is always a certain way that you need to speak to people in order to get your point across. And in common parlance, this is called code switching. This is something that Filipino Americans do on the fucking daily. This is like, I don't speak the way Jamie speaks because we live in very different areas. But if we're both going for a job interview, you can best believe that we're speaking that job interview voice as well as we can. Same thing when we go to church and, or like going to a family party and stuff like that. Like, the code switching is fucking real. it's that same sensitivity that we've had to learn naturally as Filipino Americans. And I'll admit that there's some of us that still can't grasp that idea, but it's something that is so prevalent and something that I'm so thankful for, in at least in my environment and in my upbringing, that I wish a lot more people had the experience to learn, because it's just like, it's so, when you really think about, okay, what does it mean to be culturally sensitive? It's so hard to figure out where the lines are of what's appropriate or not, just because it's just like, like, you haven't lived with these people, or like you haven't lived in this world kind of thing. So it's just like, but like from the outside perspective, like, it's just like, then just don't fucking assume, bitch. Like,
then just don't fucking assume.
Just do nothing. It's Lunar New Year. So what? Just do nothing. How hard is it to just do nothing?
If I am going to celebrate Lunar New Year, then I'm gonna go celebrate. You're not gonna tell me that I'm supposed to celebrate it because I made, like, that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you were talking about just like the way we speak, especially with specific people, it's if you kind of think about it, you wouldn't speak the same way that you would speak to your sibling or your best friend, the same way you would speak to your mom or your dad. You wouldn't talk to them with the same vernacular that you would with the other. Like, me and Reggie, we talk to each other, we'd be like, oh, fuck this and that, like, that's shit, this and that, we'd be cussing left and right. But if I was gonna talk to my pastor, like, I would obviously clean that shit up. Like, I would be like, oh yes, like, how are you today? That's amazing. If I'm at work and I'm talking to my freaking boss, I'll be like, oh, like, that's amazing. That's da-da-da-da. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's fucking cool, dude. Like, the what? Like, you have to know. And there's another way too. I actually recently learned about this, which is kind of cool on another sense. But when you mask, actually, when you have anxiety or depression, there's a thing called masking that people do, even people with autism.
Okay.
So masking is basically like, well, for example, for me, that I realized I was doing it was that when I was living with my family, so I was living at my mom's house, I realized that when I would leave my room, I would kind of try not to be sad, or I would try not to show kind of the symptoms of my anxiety and the symptoms of my depression.
Yeah.
So, if I'm in my room, I would literally sit there staring at the wall. But like, if I go out into the living room, I'm not going to do that same thing. Like, you're going to mask it in some way. So maybe I'll stare at the TV, but I'll look in my peripherals. Maybe I'll just stare at my phone and I'll like scroll. The way also you talk, they'll be like, oh, how are you today? Oh, I'm fine. How are you today? But in reality, it's like, if you were going to tell them exactly how you felt versus like what you want to actually tell them, it's like, hey, how are you today? Well, today, I had a panic attack. I kind of wanted to kill myself, but I'm cool. I'm still here at work. Like, you wouldn't say that thing to other people. So it's kind of just like, you have to know what to do in specific instances, in specific situations with specific people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like that, So in this situation with Anna, she thought that by buying the origami, buying all these things, it's kind of creating this situation that kind of uplifts her in a way in regards to their...
Like, oh, you don't have to mask around me. Like, you don't have to...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like, you don't have to act like you're not Asian enough around me. It's like, no, bitch, like, I just choose not to celebrate this shit. Like, if I wanted to, I would have celebrated it, But in her sense, she was offended because they didn't want to do what she wanted to do. She wanted to experience their culture, but they don't celebrate those specific things in their culture. They, or in their family circles, or like just them in general, they just don't enjoy those things. So for her to assume that they should or they want to, it's kind of wrong on her,
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, Anna's asshole. I'm gonna say it.
I agree. Yeah, I think, really thinking about it, I feel like this attitude also may have kind of come from Disney Channel's Pass the Plate. Bitch! Bitch, swallow!
Disney Channel, pass the plate. I'm sick. Remember the fucking mango pop?
Yeah.
She fucking was like, oop, I got a brain freeze. So you just stick your thumb in the
Yeah.
roof of your mouth.
The roof of your mouth or whatever.
Oh my god.
No, yeah, like
They were trying though.
they
I
were.
can give them
No,
props.
yeah, like I applaud
But-
that. I will always applaud that. But at the same time, like
It was so
it's
was
so
just
surface
bad.
level. Like it's so surface level. It's just
They-
not.
They like barely even made the cut. They just posted it.
Yeah, like
It was a Disney Channel shit post.
yeah.
Will.
Disney Channel shit posting past the plate.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh my god. I don't know, yeah, because I mean that's what you and I grew up on, so I feel like people who grow up in our generation think that that's okay.
Mhm.
You know, like trying to experience other people's cultures and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, without actually having the basic knowledge on it. It's,
Not actually trying to experience it. Like I don't know.
oh my god. Disney Channel passed the plate, Jesus Christ.
Was that a deep pull? Was that is that a
Yes,
core
why-
memory I just unlocked?
I'm not okay that you keep doing this. You tell me shit, I'm just like, oh my god. Jesus Christ. I'm not okay.
No, yeah, this is like. Didn't they wait? Did they or did they not have a whole TV spot with Jake Long, the American Dragon, talking about Chinese fucking culture, knowing full damn and well that the voice actor for Jake Long, the American Dragon, is Filipino? That's Dante Bosco, dude! He's not Chinese! He doesn't know this shit by heart. They're just giving him a fucking script.
Also, I get really sad when people don't know who Dante Basco is. So
Same.
if you're listening right now, Dante Basco is Rufio, as well as Zuko. He's also Jake Long, the American Dragon. And if you just don't know who he is, like, I'm sorry for you.
He is also Johnny Lovely from the Proud Family.
Fuck yeah. Oh my god. So if you've had a crush on any of these characters, you probably had a crush on Dante Basco.
Yeah. You'll know his
I had
name.
a fat crush on Rufio, girl.
He's also known from his popular early 2000s movie, The Debut, which is a very fucking Filipino-American movie. Watched that in my formative years. It's very formative for a lot of people who are actually in the generation older than me. And it has yet to be matched in energy and impact in our generation, and that pisses me off.
And also, if you're unaware of what a debut is in the Filipino culture, it's when a girl turns 18. It's very similar to a quinceañera, when a girl in Spanish culture turns 15. So for us, instead of 15, it's 18.
Yeah. Like a cotillion.
Yeah,
That's
It's a-
French.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's that French. We.
Is it?
Wee.
We.
Let me. I'm gonna Google this shit. Is a cotillion.
Yeah. The English word cotillion is a variation of the French cotillion. French word originally meant petticoat or underskirt and is derived from Old French.
Thank you, Int. That was great.
10 out of 10. Best intern.
Best intern. We don't pay her. We pay her in gum.
In gum. I wish I got paid.
I wish I
Food,
got paid
love,
in
and
gum.
attention. That's all I need.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Late 18th
Cotillon. Original name Cotillon. Late 18th century and 19th century French court dance. Popular also in England. So even if you're white, you should know what a cotillion is.
I feel like this.
Sorry, I don't mean to be diminutive towards white people, but y'all conquered our nation more than a couple of times, so I think I get that right.
They conquered everything more than a couple of times.
Yeah, everything more than a couple of times.
So, I don't know. But then again, American history, when you even try to learn anything, it's fucked up. It's just not right.
Triple S Devil May Cry red-blooded conservative bullshit.
Learn your world history, kids.
Yes.
Learn your world history. Because
Definitely.
you will uncover a lot of shit that American history hides.
Because if you're anything but white, your land has probably been plundered by white people. And if you're white, you're probably a descendant of people who've plundered and killed innocents. There's your bummer of the week.
There's your bummer of the week.
Don't fucking look at me like that.
Sorry,
Thank you very much for tuning in, whether this was your first episode or the third time that you've been with us, because we have a pilot, and if you haven't checked it out, maybe don't.
I'm over here like, yeah, go check it out. It's a little rough. Acknowledge that,
It's a little rough. Honestly, it's still my favorite, but then again, we're only like 3 in, so we'll see. But yeah, thank you folks for tuning in. If you have any thoughts about our thoughts, feel free to leave those down below in the comments section. If you have anything that you wanted to share or anything that you wanted us to discuss on the podcast, feel free to leave an email in the description box. Email below. There's an email. Sentences. Woo! All right.
this is fine.
But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed. And Jamie, do you have any parting words for our sweet, sweet audience before they hop on?
Yeah, we actually finally promoted it on Instagram. So if you are a friend or family member, thank you so much for listening today. We honestly didn't think we'd get this much support on this because we were just doing this for kind of shits and giggles, but
We're just two idiots fucking around, man.
yeah, honestly. But thank you so much for all the love and support. It means so much to the both of us. Even if we are still so little, we just love having the 2 viewers. No, just kidding. The small amount of viewers that we have tune in. So thank you so much. We are very appreciative.
Yeah. So if you like that video, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more. And feel free to actually like the video if you're watching on YouTube, but only if you liked it.
Yeah,
Don't give us any pity likes.
Don't like it if you didn't like it.
Yeah, I swear to God, I'm
I'm
this close to losing it if you fucking lie to me. Don't lie to me.
That shit.
Yeah, subscribe, turn on the bell notification. We're trying to be on a consistent schedule. So expect these episodes to come out. Episodes are coming out.
Oh God. We're actually being consistent. We're actually on schedule. We actually started a Google Calendar.
Yes. And hopefully one of these days, if we get enough positive responses, maybe we'll do an IRL together episode, maybe. But that's only a special treat. If you enjoy this video, like it and share it with your friends and family. Maybe not your family, probably just your friends.
And as always, all of our episodes are NSFW, so please listen with a lot of discretion.
And headphones.
Headphones. AirPods now. I guess that's a thing.
But yeah, thank you very much. Love you. Bye.
Bye. I wish I was good at math. I feel like I would have gotten further in life. Would have been further in life right now.
I would have owned some GameStop stock if I was good at math.
If I was good at math.
I would have some AMC and BlackBerry stock if I was good at math.
Blackberry stock. Oh my god, I fucking heard about that shit.
Dude, right? Fucking insane.
Fucking Blackberry stock.